Dad, no. I know you don't work there anymore, but you must. You've just won the Champions League with me. You must have some sway. No, it doesn't have to be anyone any good. Just a youth team player, reserve. Steve Bruce. Can I have? No. I know he's not that one, but he'll still. Yeah, Steve Bruce will still do a good job for us. No, he's in New England under-21 squad, for goodness sake. You could at least no. Ridiculous. Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Bolton battle. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got home games in the Vanarama National League North, see I remember the name of it, against Lowestoft and Leamington. It's been quite a good start, actually. We're currently sat third in the league. As you can see, we've had a decent run of games to start the season off. You were with us for the win that we had against Tamworth. We've then had a couple of draws, a 1-1 against Skelmersdale United and a ridiculous 4-4 away against Halifax. They were both away from home. We beat Grantham 3-1 at home, beat Kidderminster away, but then just lost our first game of the season at home to Harrogate in our last game. So mixed-ish start, but to be honest, we're predicted, I think, 14th. If we have, how do we look at the season preview? Where are we? Yeah, we're predicted 14th. So to be sat in third place, 1 point off the top of the league after 6 games, has to go down as a good start. One of the best things about the start is the form of Tony Hodgson, who's already proving himself to be the breakout star of the early days of the season. He's 20 years old. You met him last episode. He's been around Bolton for a couple of years, never really been anything that special. But his average rating over those first 6 games has been ridiculous compared to whatever he's put out in the past. Yes, I know it's only 6 games. He's only picked up 1 assist in that time as well and no goals. But he's certainly playing rather well and enjoying that advanced playmaker role. We've brought in a couple of new players since you were last with me as well. So we'll just have a quick look at them if we can get onto the transfer history page. I say a couple, I think there's been these 6, so we'll do the same thing we did before. I won't introduce you to them all because it will take forever, but I'll show you the ones who've made it into the team for today's game. So, changes since you were last with me. Firstly, we've got our first choice keeper back, Jordan Leach, 23 years old. He's going to be making his first appearance of the season today. He's been Bolton's first choice keeper for the last 4 years, but started the season injured. As you can see, he's conceded a few goals in his time, but it's good to have a proper goalkeeper, and hopefully that will just shore us up at the back and protect us from any more 4-4 draws or ridiculous stuff like that. Liam Swan is also making his first start. He's a 23-year-old right back who was signed on a free transfer. I think he came in before I came in. That's a new one. I think he came in before I arrived. I don't think he's the sort of player I'd want to sign, but he's going to be making his first start today. Other than that, the defence is unchanged. Paul Johnson has moved over from right back to left back because our first choice left back, whose name escapes me, has picked up an injury. Hodgson and Lamb stay in midfield from that last game, but Adam May is a new signing who comes in. He started the last. I think he started the last game, came on as a substitute in the one before. He's only 18. But does a real good job at the defensive central midfield role. As I say, he's played for us in the last game. He's got a slightly better tackle. And he's still not the tough tackling midfielder I'd ideally want there, but he's a bit of an improvement on playing a winger in central midfield like we were doing before. And then the other new boy is Frankie Penn, and he's another one who has the potential to be a bit of a star for us this season. 20 years old, natural attacking midfielder, came in on a free transfer from Whitby, so he had a full season under his belt in this division last year. He is playing as an attacking midfielder on attack. So if we just switch that to attack to show you, that makes no difference to his stats. But he's a good team player, decent first touch and technique for this level, and most importantly, I know he's only played a couple of games for us so far, but he's picking up a nice hefty average rating. And both the strikers, Chris Priest and Callum Hipwell, in the goals. So yeah, it's been a decent start. Let's get into today's game, which is against Lowestoft. I'm a little bit worried that our goalkeeper's not fully fit, but I'd rather play him not fully fit than have to have another game of Drummond basically throwing the ball into the back of the net, which seems to have become a bit of a trademark for him. Lowestoft are playing quite an attacking-looking system, which we need to be a little bit aware of. I don't think we've come up against the 4-2-3-1 at this level yet. Bit of a Premier League fancy pants level formation, if you ask me, but No one does that. No one ever asks me. I mean, quite frankly, it's getting beyond a joke now. I'm getting a bit offended by it. But hopefully we'll be able to pick up a couple of early goals, throw on a bit of pressure. Those first 3 or 4 games, we were completely bombarding teams and creating a lot of chances. That's dropped off a little bit in the last couple of games, probably because we've come up against better opposition. And we're 1-0 down. There's a lot of Mohawks at this level as well, both in our squad and in the teams that we're coming up against. And I'm starting to get a little bit worried that our nice start was more to do with new manager, exciting, beginner's luck, and over the next month or two we're going to find our more natural level as a mid-table team at this level. We've not exactly brought in a whole load of players who are going to improve the team over what they were last season, although we did finish last season on a 4 or 5 game unbeaten run, which we carried on into the first 4 or 5 games of this season. We actually got a news report saying we were unbeaten in 10 games and asking me if I wanted to request a new contract, which I did, and the board told me to do one, obviously, because it wasn't really anything to do with me. But 1-0 down at half time, we might have to have a bit of a switcheroo. We have been training a alternative tactic, a 4-2-4, nice attacking tactics. We've got a couple of decent wingers knocking around the squad now, but obviously we don't usually use them. But as this system doesn't seem to be working for the second game in a row, really, we're not creating. I mean, we were creating 20 odd chances over the first few games. Today we're just not creating anything, and it doesn't. I mean, Lowestoft don't look like a particularly proficient defensive outfit, but we're just not doing it. And the 2 players I singled out before the match just aren't really doing anything either. And of course I've only got 1 winger on the bench because I've said I want to change to that system, so why would I have 2? Ridiculous. Right, we're going to make a couple of changes. Ben Probert, he's coming on. He's a striker that I signed, 20 years old. He's played a couple of games for us, not yet scored a goal. All his appearances have been off the bench, so we're letting him off a little bit, but he likes to play as the target man, and it allows us to push Hipwell a little bit further forward, which is where his goals tend to come from. And we're going to bring Joel McDonald on for Tony Hodgson on the right-hand side of midfield. We could potentially go to a 4-4-2. Do we want to go to a 4-4-2? Let's see if this makes any difference. If we put him there. Problem is it doesn't really work with Penn. We'll have to make him that. And hope that doesn't lead to us getting absolutely battered. I think we probably need to make him maybe a defensive winger, tucking in alongside Penn, as Penn floats off forward. And I don't know, that might be something that lets us get ourselves back into the game somehow. But I'm not getting overexcited by it. I mean, I don't. The goals have just dried up. We had a 4-4, which, I mean, we were 4-1 down at one point, I think, in that game, and fought our way back into it. But since then, we've just not looked like scoring, and yeah, it's certain. For a minute there on those first 3 or 4 games, we were top of the league, and I was thinking, this lower league stuff, we won it the first time of asking last time as well. This is easy. How do people find it difficult to get out of these divisions? And now, reality check time. We're really not very good, and we're going to lose 2-0 at home for the second game in succession. Penn he's not a central midfield player. He needs to be playing further forward. We'll just take him off. There's no point in him being on. We'll turn him back to a box-to-box midfielder, make Lamb a winger, and just try and, I don't know, throw the ball forward a little bit. But if we get back into it now, it will be a modern-day miracle. In fact, can Lamb play on the left wing, or does he only want to be left midfield? Let's see what happens when we do this. He won't like it. He's actually refusing to do it, look. Ridiculous. Let's push them both forward a little bit. This is the system we're training, so they should be a little bit more comfortable doing this. And we've got to find 2 goals in 5 minutes, so why not throw the ball forward a little bit? But it's not to be, is it? And we've only had 3 shots on target, not created a clear-cut chance. It's not been a very good performance at all, and we are in desperate need of some players. But the problem is our wage budget is now maxed out, so we're relying on loans, and we haven't been able to find anyone who's any good. Yeah, well, that was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Hopefully we'll turn it around in our next game against Leamington, and you'll see us score a goal. Right, 2 changes from that last game then. We're bringing Ben Probert in for his first start up front. We had a little look at him in the last game. All he can really do is stand there and head the ball, but that's all we're really asking him to do. We want crosses whipped in from our fullbacks, for him to nod down for Penn and Priest running all around him. So, I don't know. it's worth a try, isn't it? And we're switching our fullbacks up as well. Leon Scriven coming in at right back, just because our right backs are all a bit rubbish, so I may as well try them all. So this is the team that we're going with. We have just tried to get a couple of players in on loan as well, so there might be a little bit of movement before the next episode, but we couldn't get anyone in time for today, and oh goodness me, they're playing free up front. They're going to absolutely destroy our back four. We just need to hope that they commit too many men too far forward, and we can exploit that a little bit, but really we're lining up with them in midfield 3-3, so might need to drop Penn a little bit deeper, or possibly even go to a 4 a little bit earlier in the game to try and counter their 3. I don't know. Their 3 would probably outnumber our 2 in the middle anyway. Come on, lads, we need a goal. We can't lose 3 home games on the trot. That is ridiculous. Right, come on, let's whip across in onto the head of the big man up front. He does nod it down to Penn and then Priest, and we get our first clear-cut chance of the game. So, the plan's working. The only problem is we don't have that hot shot, super-duper finishing Dale Southwell style lower league striker who's just going to keep scoring goals. I don't think. He might emerge from the players that we've got. Penn's in again, and on the rebound puts us 1-0 up. And that looks like Lego hair. It looks like he's just wearing a woolly hat, which, he might well be. It's perhaps cold. What is it? September? It's probably not that cold. You don't need to wear a woolly hat at this time of year, lad. Welcome to non-league. What a scrappy nonsense goal. But we're 1-0 up, and who cares? And ridiculously, despite only 1 point from our last 3 games, we're currently only 1 point off top of the league as well. So it's certainly not going to have anyone running away with this league anytime soon. Penn's in again, squares it to absolutely nobody. The idea was there, but there was no one following through on it. What can Hodgson do? Puts it out to Johnson. Cross comes in. Penn's in again. He needs to work on his finishing. Probert now, it ball's at his feet, so he's a bit scared, but finds Hodgson, and inexplicably the highlight just stopped despite us attacking. I bet that was going to be brilliant. Right, come on, we're a wave of attack again. So Probert, just don't kick it at his feet. What's the point of that? He finds Priest. Wow. Okay. That's going down as a Probert assist as well. He actually kicked the football. So Priest into Probert. He didn't have to kick it very far, look. But Priest has just absolutely levered that into the top corner. Players at this level aren't supposed to be able to do that. I can only assume he's mishit that. Corner comes in from Hodgson. We are all over Leamington. This is a bit more like it. This is how we were playing when the camera wasn't rolling. Penn into Priest. Can we get out wide? We do. Scriven with the cross doesn't make it through. Hodgson is everywhere today. Scriven crosses in again, and Probert has made it 3-0 before half-time. I can only assume that was a header because I don't think he can hit it with any other part of his body, but let's have a look at it in 3D just to confirm. If he's kicked it a second time in a match, I'm giving him a pay rise. Goodness me, he kicked it. Not only did he kick it, he almost kicked it so hard it burst the net. This is more like it. Why didn't we play like this in the last 2 or 3 games? We'll probably still throw it. We'll find a way to throw it away from here. There you go. It's begun. Leamington get a goal back just before half-time. And that guy has completely black eyes. He looked like a cartoon. I know all the regions look a little bit like a cartoon, but he really looked like a cartoon. He looked like a cartoon man wearing glasses, but he forgot to put his glasses on, so it was just a little black bit in the middle with eyebrows. Interesting. Right, do we add an extra man into our midfield? Or do I just sit and hope nothing bad happens and let them get back into the game? The problem is, by doing it, we might invite them back into the game. Those heady heights of the Premier League, where you're better than everyone else and don't have to think about tactics, already missing that. This is hard work. Hodgson down to Scriven. What a goal. That's our right back. I don't even know what he was doing there. Inspired decision to have him in today. Cross from Johnson, who is a right back as well. Hodgson just knocks it down to Scriven, who shouldn't even be there. And that's a beautiful finish for a right back. And Hodgson is having the kind of game that he was having when I was raving about him before. He's on an 8.3 already today with an assist. But our defensive frailties strike again. And it's 4-2 after an hour. Goals are plenty in the lower leagues. Again, what business does a Conference North player have hitting a free kick like that? That's just mad. Right, again, that puts us back in the same predicament as before. Do we add an extra man into midfield? And if so, when? If they get in now I'd be scared to, because you don't want to invite them back into the game when you're only 1 goal ahead. Oh, I hate making decisions. Oh, they're in again. Oh, goodness me. We've had 5 clear-cut chances today. We have been all over him. We've played much better today. Right, Adam May is not having a great game and he's a bit tired. We'll bring Joel McDonald on for Adam May. And we'll leave it there for now, I think. Because everyone else seems to be playing okay. One thing I have not, in fact, it's not the case in this game at all, but in those early games, we seem to be much fitter than all the other players, probably because we're resting players after each game. But that advantage seems to have disappeared now, and we're just as tired as everyone else, which is a bit of a shame. It was nice while it lasted. You'd think, basically, our coaching team is free fitness coaches. You'd think we'd be all right, but apparently not. Our coaching's still rubbish, because it's only happening on Tuesday nights, because we're part-time. Lamb intercepts, finds Priest. Priest to Penn. What can Penn do with it? Probert's in again. And unless that was a diving header along the floor, he's just scored with a foot again. That might have even been his other foot. He's on for a perfect hat-trick here. He's already had a right foot screamer of a volley. Is this on his left? It is on his left. If we can get the ball on his head, which we previously thought was all he can do, the man who can only head might score a perfect hat-trick, and that would be remarkable. Right, substitution time. I think 3 goals up, it is time to just drop a player back. Do we take Penn off? He's having a cracking game, but it just seems like the time just to drop Swan in there, make him on support, and just do that, just to try and shore things up a bit. Maybe drop back to standard. We don't want to push too far forward. How's our defence doing? Kane's a bit tired. Let's bring Price on for Kane, just to stop any tired legs at the back, and hopefully that's going to be enough just to coast us through to the end of the game. This is the other tactic we're training as well. I'm not just randomly picking tactics. The 3 we've got, the 4-3-1-2, the 4-2-4, and the 4-1-3-2, which I probably could have just clicked on rather than moving people around. But that's not how I roll. There we go. A ridiculous couple of games, really. You've seen us at our best and at our worst there. Even at our best, though, we're still leaking goals. So that's a problem that needs to be addressed rather urgently. But more important than any of that, you can see that after 8 games, we're in a playoff spot. We're only 1 point off the top of the league. So all is going well at the moment. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Early days of the new series, I would love us to get to 100 likes each and every day. So if you can help us to do that, that would be cracking. Let us know in the comments what you think of the new setup and the new way of doing things. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, or even if you've been around for a while, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. There's a button to do that around here somewhere. I don't know what direction it's in, but I'm fairly confident I just pointed at it. And thank you very much for watching.